Welcome to Wizard101. It is a mobile game pretending to be an MMO card game. Give me your wallet. In this children's card game, we play as young wizard who's been recently kidnapped by Ambrose. Have you ever wanted to, I don't know, chase an insane man across the universe? Maybe fight an army of rhino mercenaries while you get trash loot and cards? Go without food for a week to maybe enjoy playing the game? Or maybe for some reason you enjoy pointless fetch quests and looking for things the size of a football. If for some bizarre reason you don't enjoy any of that, you can play terrible mini games. Except Dig Dug. I like Dig Dug. Is this a good game? If the thumbnail or tone of voice have not given anything away yet, no. This is the type of MMO Mr. Krabs would love to make. It is actually better for your wallet, time, and sanity to buy an entire binder of Pokemon cards and play against your cat like a crazy person than play this game. Honestly, this video only exists because I played through Safaria, but since I already have recording footage and I wanted to make this video, it's this real long animation which you can do nothing in besides stare at it. It is so long, in fact, that I can tell you to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you do all of the things, otherwise Susan's gonna come to my house. Like all stories, we start in the tutorial area. And while you can't skip this is the most epic part of the free trial, but that isn't saying much. Both Malister and Ambrose watch you fight the goons, and this is, again, the most epic part of the free trial. After you display that, you learn stuff, Ambrose sends you off the Unicorn Way. Let's ignore the fact that the principal just sent us on our way to die, with only one spell. And guess what? You do the same exact thing and try an avenue, because nobody does anything. After many trials and tribulations, you reach your hardest challenge yet. The paywall. So, I guess Malister just wins then? Well, it looks like the view is over, the game is garbage, I can't play anymore. It's such a shame too, because they have 17 other worlds, yet they haven't even made the first one fully free yet. That's what I would say if I didn't spend money on it when I was a kid. I'm going to be honest with you, you're not missing out on much. When I was a kid, I really liked the spell animation. Yes, what you are seeing is absolutely correct. Frosted Snowman has turned to a life of crime, and has become all-powerful. So imagine coming back a few years later and seeing all the schools copy each other. And that's how I knew the game was getting worse over its 14 years of existing. Since I am now joined by Spite because I paid a subscription last year to go see Safaria, I will now spoil the rest of Wizard City because King's clearly does not intend to. You continue solving problems on the 3 remaining streets of Wizard City, and eventually you find the death school which was behind this waterfall because Malister got so angry because his wife died and he chucked his own school into the Shadow Realm. You go and beat Lord Nightshade. I don't remember if this was before or after you find the death school. And that leads you to Crocotopia where you must find the Croconomicon before Malister does. But really, most of the other worlds can be summed up like this. Somebody tells you to do something, and eventually the big bad will get in the way because we solve most of our problems with card-based violence. The first arc with Malister is 5 worlds, but you also have 2 side worlds you can do. But nobody cares about Wisteria, you're only going there if you're really desperate for a training point. Grizzleheim is much cooler and useful in the grand scheme of things. The only downside is that they trapped Nick Jonas in Wizard101 for all of eternity. So when you start the game, you have a personality quiz to decide which school you go into. Schools in this game are your standard class. Fire is supposed to be the damage over time school. Storm is a hit hard, but you have a crippling gambling addiction. Ice is the meat shield. Balance is, life is your healer. Myth is supposed to be about minions, but they don't know how to balance their game, so minions is stupid. And then we have Yes, which sucks the life out of everything, just not as much as the game itself. On top of that, in the second arc, you get access to 3 more schools. If you play any card games or RPGs, you might recognize these in some form. The Sun School is your equipped item card. The Star School is your self-buff. And then you have Moon School, which is the pointless gimmick. I did not get far enough into the game to see Shadow School spells, but they do exist. In addition to that, you can get item cards from your equipment, and you have an entire separate side deck for treasure cards, which are one-time use cards. Combat can be quite repetitious, especially if you're a low damage school like Ice. You click a card, the animation plays. If you don't kill a guy, he plays a card. You watch Stormzilla go off for the 1000th time, and you wait for more pips so you can attack again. Now let's talk about how the game looks. They stylize where they can because they want people's toasters to run Wizard101. Your map is dualed on, all the text boxes are little parchment paper, your menu is a textbook. Walking around is fine, I suppose. It does feel weird running around in areas of totally different quality. So at some point they updated Wizard City and updated the look of the first 2 spells of every school, and they forgot about the rest. So as you go through Wizard City, everything's very smooth. Your frost wheel doesn't look like a mesh of white and blue anymore. You get to Mushu and all the bamboo is a 2D PNG. Your Ice Colossus looks like something that would be an Ocarina of Time. Last time I checked, this Colossus is made of ice. Can you see it twist and turn like it's made of flesh? Please stop using the elephant animation. People pay money so you don't have to cut corners like this. So in conclusion, don't expect all the worlds to look like Wizard City. It does its job though. This can all be avoided if you just don't look in the NPC's eyes. Unless, of course, you want your soul to be sucked out. The music is great, but I do think the combat music will be repetitive just like the rest of this game. Because guess what? The combat is the main gameplay. You'll be hearing this more than any other track in the game. Besides music, the game has good audio. Every NPC has voice acting. And you have your own narrator because they couldn't bother making animations for your character. Now let's talk about the negatives of the game because I have nothing else to say that's positive. Can I just point out that they don't update the game quick enough to warrant playing it monthly? A sane person would think that with all the money that they leech off players, they'll be able to update the game quicker. Maybe they won't do as much corner cutting. Imagine a world where they actually update at the same pace that they monetize it. If you want people to pay for a monthly subscription, you should update the game monthly. You don't need to come out with a new world every time you update. I can name at least 3 worlds that need an update right now. Or, a better idea, update the Halloween events. It's been using the same exact one since I was a kid. Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. Give me something fun or sweet.
The entire event is just you farming music and Firecat cards, and if you're deaf, you might get a card. I don't think King Zell remembers this, but there's 6 other schools. Raids and guilds are cool and all, but you're at least 13 years too late on that. Good luck getting 11 other people to play Wizard101 in 2022. And granted, they're trying to get new people to play Wizard101, but the only emotion that got out of me was fear, because I don't want to end up with the same fate as Nick Jonas, and just what they showed is not appealing. Why are you showing stuff on the free trial? Isn't your objective to make money? Now, I'm 100% sure the hacker advertised your game better than you do. Let's say you did manage to get 11 people to do the raid. How would you communicate? You see, when you make an account, you have the option of parental controls because they want to market gambling towards children. The parental controls protect your child from things such as people speaking English, such horrifying words such as numbers and the internet. Let's hope your child knows how to grammar correctly, otherwise the game's gonna flag you for that. I understand the need to protect children from being kidnapped and all, but then the argument becomes, who let this child in a war zone called the internet? Ah yes, I love the MMO where I have to communicate like I'm in Roblox. Lastly, Arc 2 is absolute garbage, which is made even more garbage depending on which school you chose at the beginning of the game. And in my case, I chose Ice, which is one of the worst ones because I can't bounce the game. I managed to beat all of Babylon and 0.1% of Azteca before I was like, that's enough. I would have gone farther if I didn't have to do an entire step of grinding to get. So, a recommendation, if you really want to play this game despite my warnings, just play Arc 1. Doing winter test as an Ice Wizard is a special kind of help. I sure do love finding a better tank than me that can tower shield and stun, and then having my next opponent be another one. Celestia's alright, you at least got 3 new schools to play around with. Avalon was better, but you have to go through Grey Horn Mercenary Simulator, that is Zafaria. I know there's a new villain there, she just got her spell deck, and we just got a sword that stabbed her in the face with. There's an Arc 3. This is gonna have the same fate as Malice, and the story lines up. Arc 2 is what happens when you think a long story is a good story. The only advantage a long story has over a good story is that you can monetize it better. And I guess I should talk about the monetization because it makes things even worse. So when you reach the paywall, which should be considered almost immediately, you have 2 options. You can either do a subscription, kind of like how Netflix or World of Warcraft does it, pay per month, or you can buy each individual area permanently. As a heads up, if you're planning on buying all the worlds, that'll be $280, and you'll still be 40 crowns short, so make up the difference. And in most cases, unless you genuinely want to waste money, just do the subscription, because 1, you get benefits to subscribing that you don't get buying areas. 2, with Nova's coming out later, the game's probably going to be worth more than a Switch. The game is not worth $300. The game is still going to try nickel and dime you, and at some point it's probably more cost effective to play a mobile game, because at least a mobile game doesn't ask for $10 a month. Since we're on the subject of monetization, I would like you to meet somebody. Meet the Crown Shop. Probably guess from the title, it uses crowns, which you pay with money. This is confusing on how much you're actually spending. But what exactly do you have in here? You got pets, which are a hell of a raise, but they give you stats and item cards. Mounts that may or not give you extra stats depending on which one it is. Treasure card packs, spellements, houses and cosmetics, gold, henchmen and potions. Now for anyone who has played a game that isn't Wizard101 with a cash shop, this raises a lot of red flags. I mean, the only thing that I've listed here that's alright are the housing and cosmetics. The monetization runs really deep in this game. If you ever looked or saw something and wondering what the devs were smoking, they were not smoking. This was intended. They meticulously calculate how much they can annoy you without you just outright quitting the game. They make each world hellish enough that you consider using a henchman or buying better gear. I remember looking over my recording footage and just seeing an ogre boss I fought. I don't remember why I fought him. All they really do is make up a bunch of stuff for the story so you fight multiple bosses. I wouldn't be complaining as much if they at least drop good loot or spellements, but they don't. So yeah, most of these bosses had the same value as going to a silver chest that is 20 feet away from the quest giver, going to the silver chest, walking back to the quest giver, turning in quests. Both are insignificant to the plot, but they are significant to the company. Because remember, they sell mounts and they do have gear that might be better than yours, so you can kill the bosses faster. They have a financial incentive to do this. Now what I just talked about was pay for convenience, but probably the biggest example of this is the spellements. So a free-to-play player, or the closest approximation to one, they lose the ability to grind spellements after they complete the first arc, but luckily for them, they can grind for the opportunity to grind. But what about lore spells? King Zhao so graciously gave you the opportunity to grind for the opportunity to grind for the opportunity to upgrade your spells that you grinded for. Wow, lucky you! King Zhao so graciously allows you to buy card packs that has the spellements. Oh boy, I sure do love the time that I paid money for it doesn't matter. What about PvP? It is worse. While you can't win in an MMO, you can certainly win in PvP. Now, I didn't participate in PvP, but I don't think being stomped on by gold-plated boots is any fun. I spent my remaining time in Beast Moon to see how fast I can earn a gold key. Instead of participating in PvP and becoming a black mark on the floor, I just looked at what people were wearing. It might sound hard because you can make pieces of gear look like other pieces of gear, but you can't do that for pets. Considering the fact that most people will have the same pet because it's meta, they would of course have the pay-to-win gear and gems. I of course watch a few people play Wizard101 PvP because there's apparently still content creators for this. So yeah, I researched with incredible disappointment. So how's this for an item? You pay $20 to Kroger so you can get a jewel to put on your pet. This jewel gives you a slight chance to cast a card that's banned in PvP for a reason. Did I mention it has 2 effects? Most free-to-play jewels only have 1. I have a question. Do people pay $10 a month to have a job? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, grinding for all the stuff to be good in PvP is not very fun. This is obviously by design because of course they want you to buy the card packs to bypass the grinding. Who thought collecting red plants or doing Beast Moon forever and ever is good gameplay? Here's the thing though. I would have been okay with this if there was no way to bypass it. Most people would have looked at this and said this is bad game design and then not question it further. But you just had to make the paid loot box option, didn't you? Hey, did you know after you granted all the spellements, you still had to get gear and a pet for PvP? And conveniently, they are both behind card packs. You see, card packs are there to exploit compulsive people like these guys and children. Whatever garbage you get in it, you can't trade it like an actual card pack. It's stuck with you in the game, forever, or until you feed it to your pet, or the game shuts down. It has none of the key qualities related to a card pack, and is more like a claw machine that's full of air. It's just designed to waste your money. Don't purchase these and don't play this game. And before you ask, no, I did not pay for this card pack. I got this for Christmas. The only time of the year where King's Out is charitable. Now, I should probably stop here before I get very serious. To me, I've been very merciful to this game. I don't think you comprehend how many documents there are on gambling and how many mobile games copy that. Like, I could have made this video an hour long if I did all the arcs. But then I had this wonderful idea of I'm only halfway through the game and they're gonna add more monetization. Because let's be honest here, the game's just gonna get worse and worse over the years. They have no financial incentive to remove any of this stuff. The fact that people still play this game and deal with King's Out is astounding. I can't tell if it's either the sunk cost fallacy or Stockholm Syndrome. It's that bad. So yeah, there's gonna be part 2. See you in 5 years when I actually finish arc 3. Have a good night.